What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I am not a financial advisor nor expert. I am just some random dude on YouTube, so take what I say with a grain of salt. You guys will have to excuse the fact that I'm a little bit quieter than usual today. I am at my girlfriend's for the holidays today in Wisconsin, and I'm just trying to be respectful of their sleep schedule, so please bear with me. And lastly, if you think you'll enjoy the video, please drop a like. If not, drop a dislike. Either way, you're helping out the YouTube algorithm, and I'd greatly appreciate it. And consider subscribing to the channel if you'd love to join the family out here at Trey's Trades. We do post content like this every day, so you would be able to join us for the ride. With that being said, today we're going to be looking at ticker symbol GNUS, GNUS Brands International Incorporated. Now, let's kind of lay the groundworks here. This stock reminds me a lot of IDX in a lot of ways. If you pull up GNUS on StockTwits, they have a pretty huge following, 73,552 people, and as of late things are looking pretty red. The price has been red, sentiment is red, and message volume is red. And the sentiment and message volume to me is the bigger deal here, because you really need high buyer sentiment, and volume comes from platforms like this that allow people to discuss whether or not they should buy a stock. And if the message volume is down, that means the interest is also down. And if we want to look at the volume here, you can see that we have been seeing a little bit less volume than we normally do. This is a 30-minute chart, so in a typical window we've got 641,000 here, 1.5 million, 1.2 million. If we look back a couple days, 1.2 million, 1.3, 1.3 at the high here, 3.8. So it does seem like we might be losing a little bit of steam, and a loss of volume does mean a loss of volatility. And for a penny stock, that is not usually a great sign for upward price movement, but that is not the end all be all. So let's take a look here. You can actually see that we are on an overall upward trend. We have $1.31 at open on the 25th of November, and we closed at $1.57. So in a month we are up 20 cents, which is a pretty decent chunk. But we have gone up as high as over $2, up to $2.11, $2.13 as a high. So that is a number that we are going to eventually be looking for with this stock. However, do keep in mind that if you look at this 7 to 8 day window, we are on a general downtrend. We have been below the volume moving average, the VMA, for a pretty solid chunk. We have risen above it, ever so slightly, and we had a pretty solid green day here. A pretty neutral day on Thursday, Christmas Day. However, we are going to need to get above this volume moving average. I'd like to see a little more volume pump into this stock, so make sure you keep that in mind when you're looking at trading this stock. So let's draw up some indicators. I'm going to lay a level of support on this stock right here at about $1.52. We have 3 candlewick sticks that are touching this at a pretty heavy price rejection, shooting up to as high as $1.63, and I'd like to see that. The more price rejection you see from a support level, the more you can trust that support level. So I do like this $1.52 mark. If we do dip below this $1.52, you will most likely be looking at a red day, and you will most likely be looking at a pretty drastic sell-off, because for whatever reason or another, when a stock price shoots below a support level, things seem to drop off very quickly. So keep that in mind when you are looking at this company. And then I am going to draw up an immediate resistance level, and we're going to set that right here. So at $1.62, this will be our immediate resistance level, and when we can go further down the line on resistance once it gets past this $1.62, but we have been on a pretty general downtrend, so I think we're going to focus on that $1.62 for now. So you might want to write that number down: $1.62 resistance, $1.52 support, and we have a secondary resistance level right about here at $1.65. Now 3 cents isn't huge by any means, but for a stock that's already just trading at $1.57, 3 cents is a pretty significant difference. I mean, you're not playing with a whole lot of pennies to begin with. I mean, there's only 157 and $1.57, so whatever 3 is for that, you know, you can do the math, but it's weighted a lot heavier than it would be for a $10+ stock. So just keep that in mind. Opportunities to play this. Well, it depends on how you are invested in this stock at the moment. If you bought in anywhere near here, you're going to be looking for another opportunity for some volatility, for some volume, so that you can get back up to this $2+ range. But it's very hard to predict when something like that is going to happen. And you know, I don't hate on this stock whatsoever, but historically speaking, this is a pump and dump style stock. This does remind me a lot of what we used to see out of IDEX, but that stock to me has been kind of slowly graduating out of that category, which is nice. But regardless, that is where we are sitting with that. So if you are a bag holder, you might be holding for a while, but there is solid potential on this stock. So just keep that in mind when thinking about investing in this. Now, I do want to pull something up here, and just give me 1 second. It's a comment from one of the subscribers on the channel, and I think you guys would like to read this. So I'm going to pull this up for you. Okay. So, we have from Mike Sanchez. He recommended that I check out GNUS, and I want you guys to read what he has to say here. While we wait for the next earnings report from ad revenue from Cartoon Channel, it's coming. They have little debt, but on a cash burn, yet enough cash to fund operations for 5 years, according to their CEO, Andy Hayward. Now, that's huge. I don't know why it turns people off so much when companies have a lot of cash on hand instead of assets. You know, the only difference being that cash is liquidized and assets are not. However, I do like the fact that they have a bunch of cash on hand, and I like that they're going to be able to fund themselves for 5 years. So you can kind of see this as a pretty blanket way of saying the company is going to be able to continue growth for 5 years. That's like a safe confirmation of 5 years at least of consistent price action, and I like to see that out of any company because you never know what's going to happen and if a company is going to go bankrupt, especially with a penny stock. Anyways, not sure why we have some people thinking having too much cash is a bad thing. Well, yeah, I agree. Better debt utilization is in question, but if it's working, shoulder shrug. Also, Shaq just became involved and is making Shaq's Playhouse to be released in 2022 and personally bought warrants for $1.55. Not saying what to include as it's your videos, but there is a love-hate relationship with inexperienced, quick bags philosophy investors and focused on past bad publicity versus all the good details they're overlooking. And I agree with that, man. I think that's very important to think about. I think a lot of people don't really talk about GNUS as a company and why they might have some good things. So I do have an article pulled up on these guys that I wanted to share with you. And why is Genius Brand a good buy? And there was some interesting things in here. It does have some pretty solid upside, as most penny stocks do. This is the big one for me. Genius Brands holds $55 million in cash on its balance sheet and zero debt. For a company to have zero debt is pretty unheard of. You know, I actually personally think having a little bit of debt for a company is a good sign, but it's definitely not a bad thing to have no debt. That means that their financial situation is doing just fine, which is an indicator that you might not see a share dilution sell-off if this stock does somehow take off. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a significant investor in Genius Brand stock. As we spoke about earlier, Shaq is a pretty strong investor. Basically, this company, what they do, Genius Brands International is a global publicly traded company that creates animated and licensed entertainment content for children. Now, the market for this, especially with coronavirus and COVID-19 going around, is a lot higher than it used to be. So I do think that There is a lot of potential here with GNUS Brands International, but you do need to keep in mind that this is historically a pump and dump stock, so you need to be very careful about how you enter this and how you exit if you are planning on getting in this in the short term. So that is what I have for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you write down these resistance and support levels so that you are prepared for market open on Monday and have an idea of what to expect. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to get to 200 subscribers by next Sunday, and I would love to have you be a part of the family. Please drop a like if you enjoyed the video. If not, drop a dislike. And that is all that I have for you today. So thank you guys for coming to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.